My visual design represents a scene in Act 2. It's where Scarpia is talking to Cavaradossi. Tosca is heard singing in the background and Scarpia calls for her. As she enters, Cavaradossi is taken away to the torture room. The eye represents Tosca's eye, and the blue chains connecting her to Cavaradossi are her tears. It is the part when she cries and begs Scarpia to let him go, but he doesn't. The man in the middle is Mario Cavaradossi. My visual design depicts him being tortured because he wouldn't speak. The writing behind the eye represents how Tosca was behind it all. If she didn't believe Scarpia, maybe this wouldn't have happened. The two quotes I used are sung by Scarpia. They both talk about how he's torturing Cavaradossi and how not revealing Angelotti's location is the reason why Cavaradossi is suffering. The lyrics say, "Your lover's bound hand and foot, a ring of hooked iron at his temples so that they spurt blood at each denial." And the second one says, "It's your silence that's killing him." The white space represents Cavaradossi's innocence and how Tosca blamed him for going behind her back with another woman when he wasn't. A modern-day connection to this would be the day Jesus gave his life for us. He died on the cross and took away our sins. He didn't talk back to the people who were shouting at him about how if he really was the Son of God, he would call the angels down to rescue him from the pain. It's just like how Cavaradossi didn't say anything because he wanted to give Angelotti a chance at living freely.
In the next scene, Scarpia makes Tosca decide. He proposes that if she give herself to him, he will let Cavaradossi go free. My visual representation depicts the feelings Tosca could have felt during those moments. She could have felt hopeless and lost. She could have felt anger and resentment. In my visual design, there are many elements that could represent her emotions. The red lips have the word killer coming from them. This represents what Tosca thinks of Scarpia, which is not exactly positive. The eyes are covered with the word trauma, which is what Tosca must have felt seeing the way Cavaradossi was treated. In the far back, there's a woman looking down, as if she were in defeat or at loss. That could be what Tosca felt. There's a face with the lips covering, only showing eyes. The eyes are angry, and that's how Tosca must have looked at Scarpia. In the bottom right, there's a piece of paper that says love, and a piece of paper that says romance ain't what it used to be. This could be about how the storyline doesn't follow the conventional cliche idea of romance. The person in the back with the blue and red shirt represents Cavaradossi. The look on their face is a look of hope, or possibly waiting for someone to come or something to happen. This could be a modern representation of domestic abuse in relationships. People have said about victims of domestic abuse that their lips are smiling, like in the visual design, but in their eyes you can see a look of pain or trauma.
And the stars shone, and the earth was perfumed. The gates of the garden creaked, and a footstep rustled the sands of the path. Oh, vanished forever is that dream of love. Fled is that hour. During his last moments alive, Mario Cavaradossi recounts his memories with Tosca. In the previous scene, Scarpia makes a deal with Tosca to keep Cavaradossi alive. Scarpia demands that Tosca gives him her body, but she refuses at first. In this scene, she finally agrees. Tosca sits as a black hole, all power sucked away from her as she meets Scarpia's demands. Scarpia prepares to take his prey like a scorpion. Like a constellation, Scarpia only looks cool from a single point of view. But once you move to another galaxy, or another point of view, it looks completely different, as Scarpia does. Coming back to Mario Cavaradossi's recountants, he references the stars shining when Tosca enters his life. Coming back to Mario Cavaradossi's recountants, he describes the stars as shining when Tosca enters his life. But now it's all gone, and a black hole is formed from a dead star, no longer shining. And like how a black hole is a dead star, Tosca, the diva star, is dead.
My visual design represents the last scene of Act 2, the part right after Tosca kills Scarpia. It's supposed to be confusing when you first see it because it looks like paradise and it's about the scene where she kills him and doesn't know what to do. The eye represents the contrast between Adavanti's blue eye and Tosca's brown eye. The tears coming out of the eye represents the doubts that Tosca has about Cavaradossi being loyal to her because he painted the Adavanti as Mary Magdalene instead of her, and also her begging Scarpia to let Cavaradossi go. I was inspired to place the eye in the sky because as a child I saw a biblical cartoon where God was depicted as a floating eye. This can also represent the lyrics, why, Lord, why do you reward me thus, as if she was crying out to God. The words what to do is the question Tosca asks once she has killed Scarpia, and also poses as a contrast to the scene's chaos by looking like it's asking what to do as if she has nothing to do. The girl represents Tosca floating in her thoughts, using the umbrella to guard her from her doubts. She's just thinking about her loved one, and no one else. The umbrella also represents the knife that Tosca stabbed into Scarpia's back. The knife in the hand is the knife that Tosca kills Scarpia with. It creates a diagonal line through her stomach to show where she stabbed him. That's why there is a blood spurt at the tip of the knife. It also represents the lyric, with a discreet hand I relieved all misfortunes I encountered. This lyric also goes with the background and the feel of the visual design, a carefree vacation. The words a killer show what Tosca has become, but she really doesn't care anymore, so she is about to kick it off the page because she loves Cavaradossi. My modern day connection is how some people use spiritual meditation to find inner peace through all chaos.